The readings and the anthems and the hymns have done the heavy lifting of this service. You can probably tell this is a slightly different way of worship where we hear multiple readings interspersed with the gift of music and song. And all together, they have done the heavy lifting. They draw us more deeply into Lent, prepare us for Holy Week. They call us to walk with Jesus through his last days in Jerusalem, and invite us to come face to face with life and with death. But the readings and the hymns and the anthems are not the only thing that speak to us this morning. I'd like to draw your attention for a moment to what this building is saying to us. Because all around us, we see signs of heavy lifting. Our beloved organ has been taken apart and is headed to a church in Tennessee. Our closets and classrooms and kitchen cabinets have been cleared out, organized, and the contents donated or sold or put into storage. And by the time we gather next Sunday to welcome Bishop Jennifer, all that you will see in this place are the bare necessities. And once we finish with the bishop's visit next Sunday, within just a couple of hours, the last few things you see around you will be gone. All around us we see signs of heavy lifting, as so many of you have spent time and energy and passion preparing this congregation to leave this building. And this process of taking things away, this process of a significant change, of stripping away all but the bare essentials, it reminds me of a very old tradition in the church. Christians have been doing it for almost 2,000 years. And some of you may have seen it happen, and some of you have even made it happen. And some of you may never have heard of it. And whether you know it or not, many of you have made reference to it as you've looked around the building and said, well, this looks pretty bare. This tradition takes place on Thursday of Holy Week, the Thursday before Easter, the day that the church remembers Jesus' Last Supper with his friends. And traditionally, after that service is over, the altar is stripped. That's what we call it. All the linens, all the candles, all the decorations are removed from the altar. And in many places, the rest of the sanctuary is stripped as well. Decorations, banners, paraments, sometimes even the hymnals and the prayer books, they're all removed from the church. And part of this tradition is practical. Easter Sunday, which will happen in a couple of days, is often a time when visitors come. So it's a chance to spruce up the church a little bit. And there's even a more immediate reason. Because after that service ends on Thursday night, the next time the church will gather is for Good Friday, when the church remembers the death of Jesus. And so it makes sense that the next time the church gathers, that the building would be stripped of color and beauty and light. And yet it also did not take very long for the stripping of the altar to take on a deeper significance. It started when people just stayed after the service and watched the altar guild, and yes, there were altar guilds way back then, They'd watch as the altar guild would lovingly pack up everything that was beautiful and put it away. And people came to see a reflection of Jesus in the putting away, in the stripping of the altar. Removing everything from the church building helped to reveal how Jesus is stripped of his clothing. Taking things away helped reveal how he was taken from his friends, how he was robbed of his life. Removing everything from the church building became a way of preparing to meet the one, in the words of our lesson from Isaiah, who was despised and rejected, a man of suffering, acquainted with grief. This year, we really won't be able to practice the stripping of the altar, because by the time Holy Week rolls around, we'll be worshiping at McLaren Chapel or somewhere else. I only say that because it's a Thursday night service. We'll get you details. But the point is, by the time we have that service, there won't be much to strip away. We'll already be at the bare essentials, the things that many of you are going to stick in your cars, in your trunks, and bring to church and take back again. But I think that's okay, because I think God is using this move to prepare us for the same kind of thing. Stripping away everything but the bare essentials, it puts things in a different perspective. Getting ready for our move, maybe that draws us more deeply into Lent and prepares us for Holy Week in a different kind of way. Packing, loading, unloading. This is a kind of prayer. A prayer that God would prepare us to walk with Jesus through the last days of his life. And so in these last days of our time in this place, beloved, I invite you to make this move an offering to God, a way of putting our trust in the one who we will follow through barrenness and through death to everlasting life. Let this be so. Amen.
Amen.